So, if you're new to this series, what I do is I go through every division, and we are going to look at every team in that division's who their opponents are, and then talk about their record. I am down a little bit because if I scroll up, you can't see Seattle or LA on the screen, so I'm kind of putting it down a little bit here. We are doing the NFC West. We are rounding out the NFC as a whole this video here. So starting next Wednesday, we will go up to the AFC North. Recording these back to back, my throat is dying, especially because I just went like 25 minutes for my NFC South video just because they're so bad. This one I hope will be a little bit better because the Cardinals are going to be bad. We're going to start with the Cardinals. Seahawks should be good. Niners should be good, and then the Rams will probably be bad. Well, actually, we'll start with we'll start with the Cardinals because they'll be the worst. But then we're gonna go to the Rams next, and we'll talk about the two good teams afterwards. So again, this is the second video. Again, I went too far, or I went too long on my video for the NFC South just because all teams are mid, and so I there's so much to talk about for that. Cardinals might get the number one pick, and they might only win a game or two. They might. You know, DeAndre Hopkins, at time of recording this, you're seeing this, I think, in like the second weekend of June or something like that. At time of recording this, DeAndre Hopkins still has not been traded. I think there was reports that he doesn't want to be now, but it still might be on the table. And so, like, there's so much going on with that. You know, Kyler, what's going on with that? New head coach, all this other crap here. So they're like one of the worst teams in the league. Like, they are. So, we'll start. Commanders are going to be a tough game. I'm going to say they lose that. I think they lose to the Giants. They lose to the Cowboys. They are going to get swept by the Niners. They're going to lose to the Bengals. Are they going to split with the Rams? No. They're going to get 0-6. Or not get. They're going to go 0-6 against their division rivals. Yes, I said that. We're here again. I'm recording this May 22nd. You're gonna see this like the second weekend of June or something like that. So we're months out from the start of the season. I think they don't get a single division win. I think their win is gonna come from the Commanders or some other team like that. Look at this. The Ravens. The Browns, I think, should be able to beat them. The Falcons should be able to beat them. Maybe they beat the Texans. There you go. There's your one win. We'll give you the Texans. I know the Texans are a better team this year. Rams, Steelers, they should lose. Bye week 14. That's a late bye. And then you have the Niners, the Bears, the Eagles, and the Seahawks. They might go 0-17. They might not win a game. Okay, so let's look at this. So maybe the Rams are. I don't see them beating the Seahawks. They're not beating the Niners. They're not beating Philly. I think the Bears have a way better team than them, so they shouldn't, unless the Bears coaching staff is just like, yeah, we're tanking. They should not be able to beat the Steelers. I think the Steelers, again, will have like an average, 8-win, 9-win season. Again, maybe the Rams. Maybe the Texans. But again, the Texans are a better team this year. Like, I don't know. Like, I think Texans and Rams are the closest. Maybe the Falcons play down to them. They do host the Falcons, so maybe they play down to the Falcons. Or the Falcons play down to them. They should not lose to the Browns in Cleveland. They should not be losing to they should be losing to the Browns. The Browns should not be losing to the Cardinals. The Ravens should not be losing to the Cardinals. Bengals definitely should not be. Cowboys definitely should not be. Giants definitely should not be. Commanders are again a lower tier, mid-tier team, but I think they should be able to beat them too. Just kind of depends. Really kind of depends. So they might go 0-17. There's a possibility of that. They have a tough schedule. So Rams, Texans, and then Commanders. Those 4 games are their best chance to get wins. And I don't think they sweep the Rams. So I think that's down to 3 games. And there you go, max of 3 wins. Like That's my prediction. Now we're looking at the Rams schedule here. Maybe they split with Seahawks. They're going to get swept by the Niners. They're going to lose to the Bengals. There you go. You got the Colts. There's a win. Oh, you have the Eagles. That's a loss. Again, possibly split with the Cardinals. We'll say they maybe lose one. Should not beat the Steelers. Yeah, they do host the Steelers, but I don't know. They should not beat the Cowboys. Should not beat Lambeau. Should not be the Packers in Lambeau. Week 10 bye right in the middle. I like that. Talking about that in my last video. I don't like, week 5 buys, even though the Packers have, I think it was a week 6 bye for the first time in like 4 years or whatever. So, but middle of the year, I'm totally okay with that. I think that's totally okay. Seahawks, again, probably don't lose. Hopefully they don't lose to the Cardinals here. This is on my birthday, by the way. Week 12 is on my birthday. Woohoo! Probably don't beat the Browns. Probably don't beat the Ravens. Maybe, I think they should be able to beat the Commanders. Saints. I think the Saints are going to be fighting for a division title, unlike the Rams. So I think they lose to the Saints. You have to go to New Jersey. So, no, you're not winning that. And then the Niners, that's going to be another loss. 5-6 wins, maybe? Yeah. That's what I got. Yeah. We'll look at the Seahawks now. Again, they should be good. Worst case scenario, you split with the Rams, but you beat sweep the Cardinals, and you get swept by the Niners. Maybe you steal a game for the Niners this year. I don't think they did last year, but worst case scenario is, you sweep the worst team in the league, you get swept by one of the best, and then you tie or split with, a team that's worse than you. So I think that, we'll say 1-1. Oh my God. I'll say they beat the Lions. I know I probably contradict myself, and in my NFC North video I probably said, hey, Lions are going to beat the Seahawks. This video here, I'm going to say the Seahawks beat the Lions. We're contradicting ourselves. They should be able to beat the Panthers. Ooh, at MetLife, I'm going to say they lose. This is going to be a fun game. Week 4, it's going to be a fun game. Week 5, bye. Again, it's not a big fan of that. They should put up a fight against the Bengals, but they'll probably lose against the Bengals. Sweep the Cardinals. I think they could beat the Browns. I think they're going to lose to the Ravens. I think they should be able to beat the Commanders. Again, split with them. Worst case scenario. I'm going to say they get swept by the Niners. And oh my God, you have Niners, Cowboys, Niners. And then you have Philly. Jesus. That's 4. I think that's 4 losses. Actually, you know what? We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They beat the Cowboys. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt because they're not beating the Eagles. They're not beating the Eagles. I'm sorry. The Eagles are probably the best team in the NFC. So yeah. We'll say they narrowly beat the Cowboys. Just squeak by them. And then again, worst case scenario 0-2. Best case scenario 1-1. I don't see them sweeping the Niners at all. But maybe the Niners get cocky, and second time at home or first time. Oops, I meant to close. I'm trying to close that out. First time on the road, they win in Lumen Stadium. Niners are messing around, find out, and that's what happens to the Niners. And then they lock in at home in Levi Stadium and beat them. Like that's probably the best case scenario. But worst case scenario is you don't win. Titans should be winnable. Steelers should be winnable. And then you have the Cardinals here. So, I think maybe around 10 wins. 10, like 9 to 11 to 12. Well, we'll say 10. I'll go in the middle and just say 10. Because I don't feel saying between 9 and 11. That kind of... Anyway, Joe, pushing that aside, I think right around 10 wins. I think it's possible. I mean, that should be enough for a playoff seeding spot. And again, if you beat the Cowboys, it's going to help in the seeding. So yeah. Now we have the Niners here, which whoops, too low there. Start out at oh, that's right. They changed the name. I forget what was it. It was Heinz Field. Yes, Heinz Field to Acrisure Stadium. Or hopefully I said that right. Should win that one. Should sweep them. You host the Giants. Should be able to beat them. Should sweep them. Should be able to beat the Cowboys. You host them. Should be able to beat the Browns. Should be able to beat the Vikings. Oh, okay. I'm gonna give him a loss here. 8 weeks. 8 weeks. 8 weeks for a loss. They start out 7-0, and they lose at home against the Bengals. And they go into the bye with that loss. They come out swinging. They beat the Jags. They beat the Bucks. Again, beat the Seahawks. Whoa! Week 13. Week 13. There you go. They get revenge. We'll say that. We'll say they go 1-1. If I'm gonna say they get revenge here, I'm gonna say they go 1-1 against the Seahawks. So they lose on the road and they win at home. Should be able to beat the Cardinals. Should be able to beat the Ravens, Commanders, and the Rams. So we're looking at possibly 1, 2. Oh Jesus! Am I really gonna say 15-2? Am I really gonna say 15-2? You know what? They lose to the Ravens. That's okay. We'll say 14-3. God, but that's their ceiling is high. Their ceiling is 16-1, 17-0. Their ceiling is high. So and again, Rams you should sweep. Cardinals you should sweep. Seattle you should split with. That's 5 wins right there in your division minimum. You might go 6-0. You might have 6 wins within your division, and then you have Commanders you should be able to beat. We'll come back to the Ravens. This could be a hard game. At Philly too, gonna be a hard game. Maybe I think they could get revenge. So that's another 2 wins right there. Should be able to beat the Bucks. Should be able to beat the Jags. That's another 2 wins right there. We'll come back to the Bengals. Should be able to beat the Vikings. Should be able to beat the Browns. You should be able to beat the Cowboys. Should be able to beat the Giants. Should be able to again. They might lose 2 or 3 games. Right? Just looking at their schedule, it might happen. I think we'll say they lose. Let's just say it. They lose to Philly. They lose to the Bengals. They lose to the Ravens, and then they split with the Seahawks. That's 4 losses, and that's if you don't sweep the Seahawks. That's if you don't get revenge on the Eagles. That's if you don't, beat the Bengals, which I mean, they probably should be able to. But I'm just I'm not giving any team 17-0, so I got to give them 1 loss, and I think the Bengals could put it up, but the Eagles could too, and the Ravens. If you can stop the run game, well, Lamar has a weapon now. He has weapons, but he's got OBJ now, coming off of was it ACL surgery or whatever it was. Post Super Bowl he got a ring and everything, and then took a year off to heal up. So maybe they're able to shut down the run, make Lamar throw, and their secondary is just going to torch them maybe. Torch the offense. They're going to just stop the offense. So, I'm not giving team 17-0. We'll say they have 4 losses. Ravens, 1 to Seattle, 1, we'll say they lose to Philly, and then they lose to Cincinnati. And that's it. If they get under 10 wins, if they're under 10 wins here, there's something wrong with the team. Now maybe they'll, just be like the Miami Heat and suddenly just look like a god in the playoffs after, going, being really bad in the regular season. But they should not be under 10 wins. No way. No way. I don't see how. Especially because, again, 2 of your teams, the Cardinals and the Rams in your division, you should sweep. That's 4 wins automatically you should get. Now, it's a division game, yes, but you should get that. And maybe week 18, maybe they're setting up, or they put out their backups just because they locked up whatever seed they have. So maybe they lose that. But I don't know. I don't know, because the Rams are probably going to be fighting for a higher, first overall draft pick. So they're probably going to, want to lose too and put out their backups too. So I can't see under 10 wins. I can't see it. If they do, there's something completely and totally wrong with this team. And then you have to start thinking internally, is it coaching? Is it players? What's going on? Is it the owner? That's like, they have, a pretty, I don't want to say simple because it's kind of hard, but it's not super duper hard. Like, it's really not. And again, they should be able to go 7-0. Maybe Cowboys give them a loss here, but I don't think so. Maybe Giants, but I don't think so. Browns, maybe. I don't think so. Vikings, I don't think so either. And then again, first loss week 8. So, yeah. I'm going to wrap up here. This is the completion of the NFC side of the schedule breakdowns and my opinion on their record. So next Wednesday, you will be seeing the AFC North. I'll go ahead and go up here. We will be going to the AFC North and looking at the Ravens and the Bengals, Browns, and Steelers, which again, we're just, they're playing the NFC West. So they're in this video, so obviously, they have to play the Niners. But they got, 2 teams that they should be able to play and win against. So, yeah, we'll see you next week for the start of AFC schedule breakdowns and my predictions. I am excited for the East. I am excited for the North. The Chiefs probably going to stomp the West. And, I don't trust the Chargers, and I don't feel good about the other 2 teams in the West. And then the South might be a 25-minute video of me just rambling, just like I did for the NFC South video last week. So we'll see. We'll see how bad the South makes me feel when 3 of the teams are terrible. So like, subscribe, and share, and I'm out of here. Peace.